evening, everybody. It's Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
Woo! Okay, we are here. Hope this is not a surprise, Victoria. We are on Post Raw number 42 this week here.
Is that a dig at my pregnancy brain?
A little bit.
Little bit, right?
Little bit. That's all right. Welcome, everybody, to the show. We actually have a really good Raw to talk about for the second week in a row.
Even better than last week, for sure.
Oh, way better. Way better than last week's show. Absolutely. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat room right now. We got Nafis Sadat with the Tedescos as my hardcore way. The extreme way of spelling our name is now with an X. So that's pretty awesome.
I like it.
Speaking of Extreme Rules, I was extremely motivated by some things that happened on the show tonight. And me and Victoria, since we are in New Jersey, we're not that far away from Philadelphia. In fact, we're going to be going to Philadelphia quite often for the next couple of years because that's where our baby's being treated at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So we figured since we're going there so often, we might as well go see Extreme Rules.
We're there that week anyway.
Since it's also in Philadelphia. So we are also going to Extreme Rules. So I really super duper need the X on my name now. On our name, excuse me. It's both of ours. Even though it's mine first.
Okay. Makes sense.
Just saying. Randy M in the chat room. Daniel Shell in the chat room. The Tedescos. Sweet Lou. God damn it, Daniel. Hello, Sweet Lou. Billy Hefner, our dear friend. Hayden Barker. I misread your name. Hayden Barker. Excellent person, by the way. Thank you so much for your comments last week. Very sweet. Very kind. Quentin Walters in the chat room. We had Swanand in the chat room as well, and I believe that's it. If you're in here, Grash is here as well. Excellent. Oh wow, we have a lively crew tonight here.
I love it.
So, unfortunately, like at this time of the year, just from what I observe, just from the metrics that I follow, engagement and overall interest online. People are not all that interested in WWE right now. The engagement was pretty low on the pay-per-view last night, just on Twitter and just the people talking about it, the buzzing, the trendings and stuff like that. And it's a shame because actually WWE, they're figuring some stuff out right now. They got like a little plan in motion here where it seems to be kind of working.
There's definitely some things working for sure.
And we'll talk about them tonight because they were in full effect here tonight for sure. Some of the better things that they're going with. And me and Doug last night on Wrestleview Live, number 59, talked about some of those things, protecting finishers for one, better pacing, little more, character work that actually actually does work and stuff like that. Hey, I
was pleasantly surprised because I thought this would be the last show the Stomping Grounds show that I would definitely be into.
I didn't think I'd be in the Stomping Grounds at all, to be honest with you, when it was coming out. Randy M in the chat room, I think I said Randy M already, but he says, yo, what's happening? Well paced tonight. Daniel Shell says it was well paced tonight. I didn't think I'd be in the Stomping Grounds. It wound up being a pretty decent show. I thought, the more I think about the main event itself, if you just look at it from a wrestling standpoint, it was bad, but the story was actually pretty darn good.
And Raw tonight, I was a little nervous about, because, even when you have a good pay-per-view, you're not always, definitely going to have a good Raw. So I was a little, skeptical of how Raw was going to go tonight, but they followed through for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, this was actually pretty darn good. I do have to say, and we'll get into it. The key things I look for is, does it feel like 3 hours? Was I entertained? Was there good action? Did I laugh at some point? All of those markers tonight were marked yes. And was I surprised? The fifth one. I talked about last night, the things that really make me happy when I watch a wrestling show. If something surprises me, like the Ricochet thing last night was one thing that I mentioned to Doug that surprised me.
Yeah.
Was that they actually changed the title, went with Ricochet, and I like that because I just wasn't expecting it. You know, I am what they would call what the kids would say balls deep in wrestling right now. You know, being the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com now, taking over for the great Adam Martin. I have some big shoes to fill, and you know, Adam's I'm sure, you know, his shoes are so big. I'm sure he's a well-endowed man. He's a good man. But I am absolutely into wrestling right now. I know all the rumors. I see all the stuff all the time. So if and that's even more so than when I was just recapping, because I could at least step away for like some time and, you know, come back and see what's going on. Now I see what's happening every day. So if you can surprise me, that's good. That's really, really good. So there was a surprise on Raw tonight that absolutely stunned me. I didn't see it coming at all, and that's my favorite. I mean, even though I'll talk about why I shouldn't be surprised and why you shouldn't be excited, you know, I'm gonna kill my own thing here, but you know, I was still surprised. All right, let's see whatever we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to go to the Twitter because I'm curious. I know last week it didn't have 69. Will this week have 69 or above? I don't expect 69, but you never know.
I don't think it's going to be 69. I really don't. I at least hope not. Randy M., real quick. Interesting little point here. AEW is set to debut in 3 months and have 2 free shows in less than 3 weeks, and New Japan Pro Wrestling has the G1 going on right now. I think Vince knows the heat is on. I don't know about that so much that they're worried about that. I just think that they're worried about the people that they need to be worried about. They, you know, it's like the fans will watch, you know, they'll always they'll get 2 million or around there. You know, everybody loses their mind when these shows sometimes like an hour or SmackDown dips below 2 million viewers, but it's really not that big a deal.
I think they're on the radar.
Yeah, they might be on the radar, but the ones they have to worry about are USA Network and in the fall Fox. You know, they want to start getting some momentum going into Fox. Now the problem, real quick, I just wanted to show this damn Twitter poll, but the problem with WWE sometimes right now, especially right now, is that they are so reactionary. Let's say that this Raw doesn't do a good rating this week. Let's just say it doesn't average 2.1 million
whatever their
viewers.
percentage, yeah.
Yeah, the 2.1 million viewers probably wouldn't be, they probably wouldn't be happy with that. You know, like they're so reactionary right now that I worry that after this great pacing, this great format tonight, I'm afraid they might go back to the old hat and start doing their thing again, you know, where it's just like, let's just go back to doing what we were doing. That's one thing that worries me, but that remains to be seen for sure. Jamel in the chat room tonight. Hello, Jamel. And who else did I see in there that I didn't say hi to yet? Mashoon Walls. Yes. Okay. Hello, sir. Good evening, Tedesco's, he says.
Good evening.
Good evening. All right. So let's show the dang Twitter poll. What is everybody saying? Is it 69%? No. Oh, what?
What?
80% thumbs up. 80% thumbs up. Wow.
Definitely not 69.
No, certainly not. People are digging the show tonight. People really liked it. You know what? I really liked it. I want to like it. And I did. Okay, good. All right, let's talk about this bad boy then, shall we? All right. So, real quick, before we can talk about it, we have to kind of explain something that a report that we posted last night here on Wrestleview, and it's all around the internet, and it's been independently confirmed by 3 separate sites that I trust implicitly. I don't trust either of them on their own, but if 2 or 3 of them are all saying the same thing, then I trust it. That Vince McMahon is making production changes to WWE television going forward. So originally said, I think it was on a podcast with Brian Alvarez, and then it was picked up by Mike Johnson, and then finally Fightful went with it as well. That last week, remember we said it was really weird last week, that main event, with Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, that they kind of did that schmaz thing, and then they went and did the match again after the break. And then they did the 2 out of 3 falls things and stuff like that. Well, the reason why is because Vince McMahon just learned recently, because he lives in the bubble. He only watches wrestling. That's just his thing. He doesn't really watch sports. And I guess as he's getting geared up for the XFL debut in less than a year now, he just learned that real sports don't have commercial breaks in the middle of the action. So that's why the matches are being kept short. They're doing multi-fall matches, and so that the television audience doesn't miss anything in the interim.
But it's very contradictory of who Vince is, because
it is.
He does not want to be associated with wrestling.
I know.
He wants to be an entertaining business. So I just get I don't know. I just get very confused with him. I do.
Yeah.
Because I just kind of feel like I don't know, because he wants to be sports, but he wants an entertaining company. So don't worry. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Like, yeah, you're right. It's if you're in the middle of the action, that's totally fine. But on the same token, though, it's like he's always getting now. It's like really conflicting messages of like, are you an entertaining company or are you a wrestling company? He never really acknowledges that he's a sports company.
Well, yeah, but the key thing is that they're going to be doing when they go over to Fox is giving this more of a sports feel.
Okay, so I guess he's going against the grain here.
Doing, I believe what they're going with. I mean, only from what I've heard, and nothing's confirmed until it actually happens, that they will be doing like power rankings and stuff like that, actually having like breakdowns of
like stats and stuff too.
Yeah, stats and who's the champion. They're going to do a show on FS1 where I guess they're kind of go backstage, how it's done tonight, whatever, So, I guess this is kind of like the beginning of like testing out maybe
preparation,
maybe testing out some concepts that they could use on Fox, because I remember we had a conversation a few months ago, the night after WrestleMania, Adam Martin's last night. We were all talking about this, and he was talking about, hey, SmackDown's going to be on Fox on Friday. When you go to a sports bar, what's on? The sports.
Sports, right.
And when there's nothing on, they might as well put on wrestling. And if they give it a more sports feel to it, people might get into it. People might watch
I'm
more.
not saying I don't agree with it. I'm just saying it's a little bit shocking, only because of the way Vince has promoted this company for years now, that it's not wrestling, it's entertainment. So, I mean, if that's the route they want to go, obviously, for Fox, then by all means, I'm for it. I'm just saying it's just shocking for Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. But also, I get it's something outside of the norm of what you would think of, but maybe he realized that, certain things just aren't working right now. And you can defend it until the cows come home. Last night, half of the Tacoma Dome was tarped off because they couldn't sell tickets. They couldn't even give them away. They were giving tickets away, 2 for $20. Had to tape off, had to curtain off half of the Tacoma Dome. Okay? They're putting out stuff that people aren't interested in seeing, even for free or at severe discounts. Okay? So we have to try to mix things up a little bit. Try to change this, like we talked about for weeks, about how the tag matches have been the same format for the last 10 years. If they can change that up a little bit, give a little boost of energy to the people who watch at least every week, that's not a bad thing. I'm totally for them trying.
I'm for it. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not for it. I'm just saying I'm surprised.
Yes. It is very surprising.
That's all.
It is very surprising behavior, and it's very, very, I
wonder if it was one of those things, though, like, where they had to let him figure it out. Because it was his notion.
Well, yes.
And, like, somebody had to kind of, like I always say, the best way to talk to Vince McMahon is to let him think it's his idea.
No doubt.
If I were a superstar, that's what I would do.
No doubt. Jamel says he watches the Raw recap show. I think so. I think everybody should, to be honest with you. I think we do a pretty good job here. So we're having a substantive conversation here, about WWE and what they could be doing, what they should be doing, what we think of it. So, you want to hear some real fans. You watch this show here. We're talking. So, and we got great fans in the chat room too. that offer great insights as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah. Yes, sir. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of like what we were going into tonight. So I was very curious as to how this would play out, having everything done in one segment. And for the most part, this was absolutely awesome. To have everything done, one segment, one and done, beautiful. Show opens up with Seth Rollins, and before he can even start talking, Becky Lynch's music hits. And they're playing. They've been playing up for a while. They're boyfriend and girlfriend. Last night it came into play at the Stomping Grounds main event, and so now they're out here together. She says it pays to be the man's man, which I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. That's pretty funny. And then she starts. To me, the Becky Lynch promo thing is a little over the top. It's like, when she starts calling her a plank and the man has to come down, stop her empty head. Oh, no. I'm like, okay. Let's
slowly roll, lady.
Take your Ritalin and chill out. Okay. Like you're severe right now. Okay. Yeah, that's a little over the top, but overall that was pretty entertaining. They had Lacey Evans attack her from behind and Baron Corbin tried to get the advantage. They quickly cleared them out of the ring. And Baron Corbin, I'm sorry, I have to actually read my recap because, again, this is like over 3 hours ago, so now I have to actually think about how this happened. Corbin says that Rollins should just give Becky Lynch the title, go home, fly home to his house, and put on an apron and make a sandwich for the man because she's handling all of Rollins' business. I like that line. I liked it a lot. Lynch says, Corbin says he'd take Evans as his mixed tag team partner against Rollins and Lynch anytime, anywhere. Evans says she would definitely do that. So Evans says that match should happen in Extreme Rules. And Lynch agrees to it. And one caveat, if Corbin and Evans don't win, they are done with the title. No more title opportunities. So Corbin accepts that, and Evans says they'll raise the stipulations. Rollins accepts before he even hears the stipulation. So as much as things change, the faces still stay dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, accept the stipulation without even knowing what it is. And it wound up being that they're both champions, so now it's going to be a winner-take-all match. So if Corbin or Evans beat Rollins or Lynch, they both become champion. Corbin becomes Universal Champion, and Evans becomes the Raw Women's Champion.
I feel like everyone's really going to hate me.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oh, gosh. Because it's everything I've ever said in like, previous shows and stuff. I really didn't hate Baron Corbin in this at all. And but here's what I'm going to say. If this storyline, the way this storyline is panning out, it makes sense that Baron Corbin is involved.
Yes, it does.
So I don't like the layers to all of this now are just really good. And the fact that, these stipulations and when he made that statement about the man making the sandwich, like, because he's so hated in the company and people really don't like him, that I feel like this worked really, really well. And when he came out, I wasn't like, oh, I knew he was coming out. I knew he had to retaliate. You know what I mean? Especially from what happened last night. But I was just like, oh boy, I hope we don't lose fans because I really didn't mind it at all. I just didn't.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't.
So, yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, I didn't hate Baron Corbin in this either. I do have to say, he was all right in this. But I guess if you want to insert a little logic into this,
what you said before about them being dumb.
Well, no. Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans have both lost their last two title opportunities clean. Yes, Rollins had a little help, I guess, from Becky Lynch because, the odds were so stacked against his favor that Lynch basically evened it out. So I guess you could call that still a clean victory for Rollins last night. They shouldn't, and Evans lost twice by submission. They shouldn't have an opportunity at all.
I'm gonna hit you with logic, though.
Oh, you're gonna out logic my
I'm gonna
logic?
try to out logic you. Corbin's a corporate guy, so the rules really don't apply to him.
Right.
It's true. Come on, you can't say it's not true.
I know.
I'm just saying, I'm going to hit you with logic. The rules don't apply to Baron Corbin.
I know. Well, honestly, like, I mean, there are definitely some things where it's like, wait, why did that just happen? Still, I mean, obviously, and I'll get to that as well. All right. So our main event of Extreme Rules is Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch in a winners take all mixed tag match. Good stuff. Nice and short, too. This went about maybe 10 minutes, and then it's on to the next thing. The first thing we have is an 8-man tag team elimination match. Daniel Bryan and Rowan teaming with the Revival take on the New Day and the Usos. So be prepared for a lot of elimination tag matches and matches where things kind of, have to have like these like weird things in order to get to the break where there's not going to be, like they have to restart. I heard Michael Cole say more than once tonight, we're going to go to commercial and restart this match. It's like, okay, I get it. So like, we
get it. There's production changes.
Yes. But like here in particular, it was kind of like an abrupt commercial break, if I may say so. First thing we had was Daniel Bryan and Rowan being eliminated by the New Day. Bryan was super over, but after some, like Bryan and Rowan weren't getting along with the Revival, so they accidentally, Bryan accidentally hit the Revival accidentally hit him, and he was rolled up by Xavier Woods. Immediately after that, Woods is fighting the Revival, and they hit him with a crazy shatter machine, which I will actually show the gif of, and he's eliminated. So the New Day is out as well. So, and then they go, okay, we're going to stop this and send it to commercial and restart the match. It's like, why? Like, you didn't give Woods that same courtesy 30 seconds ago.
I had that same thought when the match was going on. I'm like, wait a minute. So it's going to restart after that, but not the first time?
Right.
Like...
Yeah, I was like, okay. And they go, no, we're going to restart it as a regular tag match. I go, but it's an elimination match. like after the two teams are eliminated, the last team to get the victory wins now.
Right.
It's like, it already is a regular tag match.
We're already in it. You can't really restart it.
You can't restart it. But that's what they're doing. So... Again, like there's going to be some hiccups as they do this.
Yeah, as they kind of like test it out for sure.
But you know what? Like number one, the Usos picked up the victory over the Revival. Actually, they had a really neat finish where they were kind of beating up on Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso tags in, thwarted a superplex splash thing and splashed, I believe it was Dawson for the win. So the Usos pick up the victory. But you know what? I actually think that because they're going to start doing elimination and multi-man matches, it's going to lead to more clean finishes.
Yeah.
No more of this like, okay, we just booked ourselves into a corner, so we have to, book a BS finish and, make you feel like you just wasted the last 3 hours of your life.
Let's equate it to this.
No, I'm saying that's a great thing.
Yeah, let's equate it to this.
Okay.
You know how you always want, you guys got rid of the thumbs in the middle type thing?
Yes.
So this is kind of their way of getting rid of the thumbs in the middle for the production. You're going to have a clean finish. We have to be decisive here. We have to make some decisions. Who's winning? Who's doing this? You know? We have to have a little bit more of a foundation for...
We have to have a backbone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Overall, I agree with you, though, 100%. The overall, with the exception of, like, the kinks in the commentary and, the whole production thing that they're trying to, like, work out as far as... new production style. I thought overall though, the whole layout of this match in general was just great. Very indicative of Vince McMahon though. Daniel Bryan's team, of course, is the first one eliminated, being in that they're in his home state, for sure. But it had good reaction behind it. The crowd was into it. Everybody just seemed like it was a good way to, especially with the shorter segment in the beginning, it was kind of a good way to start off Raw with these tag teams, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. It was all action, no real rest hold spots and all that stuff that just drives you bonkers while you're watching it.
For sure.
It was just fun.
It was fun, yeah.
If anything, it's a nice change of pace.
Absolutely.
That's and you know what? When you watch the show every week like I do, as closely as I do, this is good stuff. And Jamel makes a great point here. Clean finishes, finishers actually being finishers, logic and story. Don't say the L word, Jamel. You just admonished me. This is too much change. I don't know what is happening anymore. This is change that works. It's not a Band-Aid. It's not the wild card and the superstar shakeup and this and that, all this hot shot stuff just to get people watching.
Yeah.
Like, this is the stuff where it's like, okay, it's going to be slow for people to catch on that it's getting good again. But once they do, they're going to stick with it because these changes, if you stick with them, it could actually work.
For sure.
It could actually work. So this is all positive. It's all positive. And it's not going to reflect in the ratings for a few weeks, maybe a month. You know, when Steve, like I always go back to the example of, how about WCW and the NWO? Yeah, the NWO, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash debut, they were still kind of like trading wins with Raw and the ratings every week. And then but they kept with it. Like, I feel like if it was today, they would have been like, okay, well, this isn't working. We got to break them up or add this in, or hot shot this, hot shot that. No, they kept going with it. And finally, when Hogan joined and they kept going with it some more, he's the champion, they're running wild, and then they start building up the baby faces. Then it exploded, and WCW kicked WWF's ass for quite some time after that. You got to stick with it.
Yes.
Sometimes these things don't always pay off, and you just got to keep riding it until it does.
Agreed.
And I think this is actual change that is going to work.
Yes.
I really do believe that in my heart.
And you're exactly right where you say this is slow and steady, but in the long run, when you look at the bigger picture, it's going to work.
Yes.
So this is good.
Yep.
It's just this is just a starting point.
Yep.
You know, you're not going to get it immediately, but this is a great foundation for where they need to, to continue this momentum.
100%. All right. Here, this next segment, I don't know, maybe like my second favorite thing on the show by far. Miz with special guest WWE 24/7 champion RTruth. This had
Gold.
I was laughing. I mean, laughing out loud. Oh my God, it was hilarious. Oh my God, Clinton Bowman's in the chat room tonight. CJ, what's going on, man? Baron the GHOHT Corbin. What is GHOHT? I'm not up to date with the cool guy lingo.
GHOHT?
Yeah, I don't know. You gotta explain that to me.
Yeah, I don't know
you
either.
Gotta explain that. I really don't know. Anyway, so RTruth out there. I take back everything I said about the WWE 24/7 Championship. It is just this has been the best comedy that WWE's produced in quite some time. The best. And it's all RTruth. These segments don't work without RTruth. Drake Maverick was no slouch in this either. So Miz says that the WWE 24/7 Championship has been around for a little over a month and been defended anywhere, anytime, including a golf course, an airplane, and an elevator. And then and then finally at a wedding, they show footage of RTruth beating Drake Maverick at his own damn wedding. Greatest heel of his time. That's what it means. No. He's a heel. Yeah. And people don't like him. But the problem is he has a lot of go-away heat. I don't know how much of it is that people want to tune in to see him get his ass kicked.
Back to the 24/7 championship, please.
I'm not going to go off on that. Okay. So Miz is like, dude, that was the guy's wedding. You can't beat him at his own wedding. And I mean, the follow-up to it's been tremendous, with Drake Maverick saying that this has ruined his life. He's walking around all dejected. His wife wants to divorce him.
But wait a minute. Can we just talk about, you missed something before. And you mentioned this while we were watching the show, about how, don't worry, the WWE officials said that nobody can interview, like no one can interfere during our interview. But I guess, like you said, weddings are not off limits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were watching the show, and because RTruth came out and he's like looking under the ring and stuff like that. He's all scared of somebody being under the ring going to pin him, and then Miz goes, "Don't worry, I talked to the WWE officials, and they said that the 24/7 championship rules are suspended for right now for this interview, and I'm like, why couldn't they suspend it for Drake Maverick's freaking wedding? Like Miz TV's more important than the guy's wedding.
I gotta say, coolest wife
It was
ever.
hilarious. Oh, she's got to be the best wife of all time, maybe. Other than my wife.
Thanks.
Of course.
No, this was pure genius right here.
And but Miz was like flabbergasted they did it, and RTruth is like, the 48/7 European TV Championship isn't a joke. He doesn't even know the name of the title, which is the best. He says he hasn't had time to eat, drink, or be merry, if you know what I mean. He can't go to the grocery store or picnics without looking over his shoulders. And then he goes, WWE superstars are even coming to his house dressed like the police, telling him that his music is too loud and his car is on fire. And he's like, yeah. Meanwhile, like, it's implied that actually was happening, that there was a noise complaint at his house and that his car actually was on fire. I was waiting for him to say, like, where's my damn car? Amazing. And then just keeps going on. Carmella says interrupting the wedding may be extreme, but it just shows how important the title is, which is actually a good way to get the title. That was a great way,
yeah.
Good way to get the title over.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then finally they send out poor little Drake Maverick.
Oh, he's so cute.
Who says that winning the 24/7 championship was the biggest moment of his career, and his wedding was supposed to be the biggest moment of his life, but RTruth ruined it. His wife won't talk to him. She won't go on the honeymoon. They haven't even consummated the marriage. And RTruth goes, fiber is good for that, because he thinks that he said constipated instead of consummated. And then the crowd starts chanting constipation. This was just amazing.
Did you ever imagine in all the years you watch wrestling that there'd be a constipation chant?
No. Although I do have to admit, I have seen feces dumped on wrestlers more than once in the WWE.
Yeah, I've seen it too, but I've never imagined hearing a constipation chant.
This is the best thing in WWE right now, by far. And so Maverick challenges him to a match, one-on-one, no shenanigans, so he can win back the love of his life. And Carmella goes, oh, that's cute. He wants to win his wife back, RTruth. And Maverick goes, I'm not talking about my wife. I'm talking about the WWE 24/7 championship. And he goes, you know what, Hornswoggle? You've got your match. This was just the best segment of the year, by far.
I have a question for you.
By far.
I have a question for you. Did Vince really write this?
You know what? I don't know. Because like RTruth is just so friggin' funny.
It's just,
they might have just been riffing out there. I think that Vince had some hand in this, but RTruth, when he starts riffing, is hilarious.
He is. He's hilarious. But you know what it is? It's like you see Vince McMahon do other stuff, and you're like, oh gosh, that's cringeworthy. But then you see something like this, and you're like, this is just brilliant.
This is genius.
So it's like, it's just like, if you just hone in on that creativity constantly, like this is like, because you know how he gets a little like outside the box with his humor. This is good humor. This was totally like, there wasn't any vulgarity. It was just straight.
It had some innuendo. It had
innuendo. It wasn't straight up like, oh hey, we didn't have sex. You know what I mean?
It was funny.
We didn't consummate, and then it turned into constipation. Like the whole thing was just so clever. And I was laughing the entire time.
Hey, you know what? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut, of course. But this was just great.
Oh man!
RTruth being Santino Marella. Amazing. That's what we need. We needed, like, Santino segments were always gold. Like, for the most part, some of them missed, but for the most part, the Santino Marella stuff was funny. And without Santino Marella, after he had the neck injury and he left, there's a big comedy hole in WWE. A guy that actually knows his role and is totally committed to the comedy thing.
He's so committed to it.
He's so committed to it. You know why? The guy's almost 50. He looks amazing. Amazing. And he knows he's at the back end of his career. Might as well have some fun.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? My God. Go with it. He's killing it right now.
And everybody's playing into it really well. I mean, you have Carmella, who's actually killing it too. Yeah. Being his like shield and everything. Drake Maverick being this like essentially this number one contender. Yep. You know what I mean? I mean, the emotion that he just gave out in this tonight was just.
And RTruth has had some funny stuff through the years, like coming out during the women's match, thinking that he was in the Money in the Bank match and it was the women's Money in the Bank thing, and he's like, my bad. Or the time his
little Jimmy moments,
the little Jimmy things. But my favorite of all time was RTruth coming out dressed as a Confederate soldier from the Civil War singing Little Jimmy and yeah, that was hilarious. Oh no, even funnier. Remember when he said that he went to Disney when I think they were in LA, and they went to Disney, and he goes, I was talking to Pinocchio and he said that you was going to win the Royal Rumble, and then he shows him with he's like this and Pinocchio's nose grew. Oh my god, he's had so much.
Oh, another favorite
fun.
of mine too, when Miz, Christian, and Truth were out there and they were doing the really Riley, and then he goes, Jimmy.
Oh,
Jimmy, he just knows.
You know what? Like we've been talking a lot lately about guys who get it. You know, Tyler Breeze gets his role. You know, RTruth is a guy who gets it. And you know what? So is Drake Maverick. And they had a very quick 30-second match after the commercial break. That was over and done with in 2 seconds. And then a whole bunch of superstars ran down, and he basically got away. And Maverick gets up. Charlie Caruso comes out and interviews him. He can't speak. The crowd's singing na 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 to him, and he looks like he's gonna cry.
I felt so bad for him and little Drake Maverick.
It was the best. The whole entire thing was just amazing.
And how many title changes were there tonight in this? 5?
Not in this segment. That's coming up. But yeah, we also had 5 WWE 24/7 Championship changes tonight. We'll get to that. The next segment here. Okay. So we just finished off probably the funniest segment of the year in WWE.
Oh, so good.
With something that was truly shocking. We had Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans backstage, and Corbin says they're going to be the power couple in WWE after Extreme Rules. I don't know if they're going to be romantic or what. But Shane and Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns in a 2-on-1 match. They were killing Roman Reigns in this. Killing him. Absolutely killing him. And all of a sudden, you know, they're hitting him with Claymore kicks and spears and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, and if you told me that you were expecting this, I will tell you to your face, find me. I'll give you, I'll DM me. I'll give you my address so you can come to my house, and I'll tell you that you are an absolute liar. There's no way you could have seen this coming. The bell tolls, lights go out. The Undertaker's in the ring. The Undertaker comes to Everett, Washington to help Roman Reigns. Who saw this coming? Oh, not me.
That was the first thing I said. I was like, that was the most shocking thing. For the sheer fact that you saw Undertaker in Washington.
Everett, Washington. It's like, who cares?
There's nothing against Washington by any means, but it's like,
not our dear friend Nafis Sadat is from Washington.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but it was just like, whoa. I mean, the immediate response, like, you screamed, I was like, ah.
I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. And you know what? I love professional wrestling. I love all mediums of it. When the AEW show was on, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. When WWE is doing things that surprise me, I really enjoy it. And this just reminds me why I'm a wrestling fan. When I can get surprised, and I swear, even though I just saw Undertaker have a completely embarrassing match against Bill Goldberg 3 weeks ago in Saudi Arabia, like, that immediately gets washed away. When you see him in the ring, the hair on my arm was standing. You know, even thinking about it's giving me kind of goosebumps a little bit, you know?
And then you're like, we're going to Extreme Rules.
Yeah, and right then and there, because I just said this is going to be the tag match at Extreme Rules. And before they even announced it, no, actually, I think it was exactly when they announced it, I said that we're going, and I bought
No, you said it twice.
Yeah, but I actually bought them after they announced it for Extreme Rules. So we are going to Extreme Rules specifically because of this segment. And usually it's Undertaker that does this to me. I remember I was kind of on the fence about going out to Miami in 2012 for the WrestleMania.
I do remember this.
And all of a sudden, it's Undertaker and Triple H in the ring, and they announced the Hell in a Cell match, end of an era, and I said, I'm not on the fence anymore. I'm going. And I didn't even have the money to go at that time.
And honestly, there is something to be said about the fact that, like you said, even though it was an abomination of a match and it was just like beyond cringe, it's that the effect that Undertaker has is astounding.
Yes. It's true. It's true. Like he sells tickets. You know, fix the camera. I've been trying to tell you like.
I'm uncomfortable.
I know. So it's a tilt the camera down a little bit then.
And am I all right like this?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway, she's gonna fix her camera.
I'm not comfortable.
Okay, that's fine. Now you can be comfortable, and now the camera's fixed. Perfect. She looks great. Everybody tell her she looks great. You can't hear them,
Please.
but they're saying it, or they will be saying it, because we're on a little bit of a delay. Anyway, so yeah, Undertaker bought these tickets. You know, and as Daniel Schell says, Mike took baby money and bought tickets. Yeah. Hey, CJ Bowman says he might be coming out to Philly because of this.
CJ.
And Jamel says, "Wait, Cena didn't do it for you at 28?" And I have to say, no. It was the Undertaker Triple H that made me commit. Like, yeah, I was interested in seeing Rock and Cena, but I don't know if that would have gotten me out to Miami. Undertaker Triple H did, and that was a damn good match. So, okay, so yeah, so that was that all in one segment. Undertaker comes out. Wow, pretty damn cool. So again, if you were expecting that, liar, pants on fire. It was good. You know, he chokeslammed Shane McMahon, beat up Drew McIntyre, and then he did the pose.
There was nothing basic about Undertaker tonight, I'll tell you that much.
Nope. and I bet that he wanted to do a chokeslam because the last one that he did on Goldberg was so damn pathetic. So it's like, I must redeem myself.
I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't know what show you're talking about.
Yeah,
so.
Victoria is the one wrestling fan that absolutely sticks to what she says. If she's not going to watch Saudi Arabia, she's not watching that damn Saudi Arabia.
I didn't watch it. Nope.
So Jamel says, but once in a lifetime. I saw the once in a lifetime Rock Cena, and then I saw the twice in a lifetime the next year at MetLife. So yeah, I saw Rock Cena twice, both matches. So cool. Yeah, and by the way, this is like an hour into the show, and this thing was just flying by. I was having so much fun watching this show. Next up is a tug of war contest. Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. Throughout the show, they were showing like video of Braun Strowman pulling a tractor trailer, and then Bobby Lashley pulling a car. This was fun stuff too, and quick, over and done with, no issues whatsoever. Bobby Lashley teased getting Braun Strowman over the line, and then Braun Strowman pulled him back. Quick and painless. That is the theme of the night. Bobby Lashley beat up Strowman afterwards, so I guess we're going to get an Extreme Rules match with them. And I have to say, you know, Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman was probably the second best match at Super Showdown. And that's not a compliment, but they at least do have that going for them.
Here's my thing with Bobby Lashley. If he doesn't speak, I'm okay.
Yeah, he didn't speak tonight.
No, and that was why I was great with this.
Yep. Yeah, it was good.
Straight muscle.
Yep, straight muscle. Okay, next thing we have is Charlie Caruso. Okay, this was a weird segment. Charlie Caruso interviewing AJ Styles backstage. Styles is going to talk about his recovery, but she cuts him off and she goes, "Okay, that's great, but why are you challenging Ricochet?" So why the hell? Look, the interviewer's not supposed to cut off the wrestler, and then he goes to speak again, and he's cut off by No Way Jose's music. So it was like just a really weird segment. And then we see Gallows and Anderson dancing with the conga line. Styles asks, you know, what happened to you? Where are the old Gallows and Anderson? And they say they'll show him next. Gallows and Anderson versus the Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders are getting beat up by Gallows and Anderson at first. They hit the Boot of Doom, but Eric kicks out. I think it was Eric kicks out. Then Anderson started to gloat. Again, this is simple storytelling, and I mentioned this last week. This is simple stuff. Last week they gloated, and they wound up losing the match. This week, again, they gloat, they slip on a banana peel a little bit, and they wind up losing this match too. So it's giving Gallows and Anderson a reason to get their edge back. It's not like this is good, and I'll tell you why it's good. It's not like these guys were treated like jokes for well over a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and then all of a sudden they just come out and now we're going to take them seriously again. Like you know how they do with Mojo Rawley, where he's a joke, and it's like, okay, well, it's time to give Mojo his once every year push him for 3 weeks, and then he goes back to being a joke. No, it's a slow build back to respectability here. You know? Like that's why this is working for me.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to, they're still looking silly, and then they try to look good, and then they wind up coming up short. This is all good stuff, and it's going to get them back to being a serious tag team again. This is all positive. I don't know what the hell's going on, who spiked the creative team's coffee or what the hell's going on, but they're figuring stuff out. This is how you get, this is how you start developing a push again. Very good.
It was very, very clever. Simple, clever, to the point.
Yep.
Simple.
And we move on. Let's see. We had Mojo Rawley and Heath Slater in the ring, ready for a match, and immediately
I quote Mike Tedesco.
What was my first guess?
He was like,
Say it.
"This is the turning point in Raw where it gets bad."
Yeah. I was like, okay, here we go. Now the show's gonna go off the tracks.
Yeah.
Because I'm just conditioned. I wait for that segment where it's like, okay, this is where Raw gets to be garbage again.
Yep.
We're gonna get a Mojo Rawley push.
This is it.
And the match never started.
It never happened.
Yes, because RTruth ran in through the crowd, and we had 5 title changes. Heath Slater rolled up RTruth, then RTruth got him back. Cedric Alexander hit RTruth with the lumbar check, and then the real EC3. I'm sorry, I'm looking at his Twitter handle because I'm reading off the list here. EC3 then DDT'd Cedric Alexander on the 24/7 title, and he won the title. And then Carmella took the title, and RTruth schoolboyed EC3. Schoolboy is the finish of the year for the 24/7 title. RTruth is still the champion. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 title changes in this segment, and that just made me love the 24/7 championship and RTruth even more, because it saved me from having to watch Mojo Rawley in action. God bless the 24/7 championship.
Amen.
In the name of the Father and Son and Holy Spirit. And now we move on.
Wow. No, that was
great, wasn't it?
That was so good. Because I had that initial thought too, but you said it out loud, like, oh gosh, now we're getting Mojo Rawley. But that totally took me by surprise. And again, another little nice comedic relief. 5 different champions in literally maybe 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And this is great. If this was something out of result of the fact that the USA Network was like, hey, you need to do this. This was true gold. And having RTruth that is just, I hope this continues on for the rest of his career.
I hope it goes
I really
forever.
do.
I do.
I don't see anybody else being able to pull this off he can. I don't.
I think RTruth should be 100-time WWE 24/7 champion and then just retire with the title. And the title, that's it. That's it. There can't be any other champion.
Once he goes, the title goes. That's it.
It's amazing. It's just so much fun.
Good stuff.
And as Jamel says, and this is so great, they should do this every week when Mojo is about to have a match.
Oh my gosh.
And they made Mojo look stupid throughout the whole entire segment too. I love it.
That would be brilliant.
Oh, I love
need to see Mojo Rawley. That would be great. Every time he has a match, this happens. Oh, that would be so good.
It was tremendous. And Quentin says, in the name of Mike, Victoria, and the little one, amen.
I love how Quentin always includes the baby.
Quentin always includes the
baby.
Always.
Thank you, Quentin.
And somebody else even said that baby Tedesco is going to be the next 24/7 champion. I have to go back and find that because it was very nice too.
Well, she was kicking and punching.
She was. During that segment, she definitely was.
Yeah. She's actually sleeping right now.
Oh, Mashoon Walls said it. Yes, thank you, Mashoon. The 24/7 title. This is just built for RTruth. Excellent segment. No Mojo Rawley wrestling. I don't care if Heath Slater wrestles. I care if Mojo Rawley wrestles. I don't want to see it. So that was just a perfect segment. Next out, Kofi Kingston throwing pancakes. Charlie Caruso is about to interview, but Sami Zayn interrupts, and they say, hey, and he comes out with Kevin Owens, and they say, hey, not Renee Young, get out of the ring. We actually have some real journalism to do here. That was a great line. Their first question is, why is Kingston here? The second is, who does Kingston think he is? And the third question is, why doesn't he just get the hell out of here? And then Kingston asks Owens why he has a bleeding zit on the side of his head, and he definitely did have a zit. Zayn asks why he's a paper champion, getting help from his friends, but he says, maybe I have some friends that get themselves involved sometimes, but you know what? When I beat Owens, I beat him all by myself. When I beat Ziggler last night in the steel cage, I did it all by myself, and tonight I'm going to beat Sami Zayn all by myself. They say his ego's out of control, but Kingston says this title's not about me, it's about the people, and if he's being honest, he's tired of hearing Zayn talk. So it's time to start this match. Go to commercial, come back. Kofi Kingston, Sami Zayn, they had a decently long match for a one-segment match, and he countered a Blue Thunder Bomb into a roll-up for the win. So, again, they actually had a competitive match. It was all action, no rest holds, because you don't have time. It's one segment. So now we can finally eliminate the damn rest hold thing. This was just positivity all around. This was the power of positivity that the New Day talks about.
Yes, continue.
Oh, okay. I thought I didn't know if you had anything to say.
I have thoughts after.
Oh, you have thoughts after.
Yes.
Okay. And then after that, Kevin Owens gets on the microphone, says that Kingston isn't as good a champion as he says, and Owens challenges him to a match to see who is the best. Kingston agrees. Go to commercial, come back. Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens. Owens hits him with a few super kicks. They wind up outside. Kingston quickly hits an SOS on the ramp, gets in the ring to win by countout. So Kofi Kingston defeated both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And while he's celebrating on the ramp, this was another thing that was awesome and could be a great summer feud. Samoa Joe attacks Kofi Kingston from behind, lays him out with a nasty, and I gotta show it because it was just straight up nasty, Uranagi on the stage. Wow. And then he choked him out with the Coquina Clutch. Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe? Yeah. I can get behind that.
Absolutely. Now here are my thoughts.
Okay.
So great match with Sami Zayn. Great lead up into Kevin Owens having a match. Samoa Joe coming out and attacking him to the point where I actually thought, I'm like, wait a minute, is he really foaming at the mouth right now that he's like in that much, of pain? But I didn't realize it was spit, but I was like, wow, this was so good. I can totally get behind this feud. And even though Kofi Kingston spoke about this beforehand, that he could do things on his own, where were Big E and Xavier Woods, though, when he was getting attacked? Yeah. That's my only criticism. That is my only criticism. Everything else worked out great. Like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, great build, great story. Wow, incredible. This is going to be something really nice for the summer. But where were those two when he was getting attacked by Samoa Joe? I get it that he wants to be alone and defeat on himself as a champion. But where were his friends during that?
That's actually a
right.
Great...
Am I being too I don't know.
No, you're being 100% correct. That is the one logic.
That's the
question.
one critique I have of this whole thing.
Yeah. Where were his buddies? But maybe he said no matter what, stay in the back.
Maybe, but they should have said that.
Yeah.
So.
But this was just.
But everything else amazing. Like I said, I really thought Kofi Kingston was foaming at the mouth. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And what a great emotion off of Kofi Kingston on the attack too.
Yeah, Kofi sold that like a champ because he is the champ right now, and this got me so pumped up.
I did not expect Samoa Joe to come out there. I didn't at all.
I didn't either. But this got me so pumped up for a summer program with Kofi Kingston and Samoa Joe. Even if it just lasts to Extreme Rules and maybe they finally do the Big E turn and it's Big E, Kofi Kingston at SummerSlam, whatever it is. I don't think you break up the New Day. I think they're too. I think they're too important.
I really do too.
WWE and.
Why mess up a good thing? I really believe that, honestly. I think that the New Day is really just has been such a substantial tag team,
but they're basically in a way they're the face of the company, and
it's showing it works, so they could still be together and Kofi is a champion.
Right, and I don't know if any of them are as successful without the others. They're just excellent. They're probably the best. I actually think for what they've done, for how over they've gotten. They started off as a complete nothing afterthought of a tag team in 2014, and then they started building up. They had a year run with the tag team titles, over a year actually, the longest reigning tag team champions of all time. They hosted WrestleMania. They built one of their members into a legitimate WWE champion.
That's what I'm saying.
Kofi Kingston, his career was going nowhere fast, and then
and I know
then
it was by
this
sheer
happened.
accident because of Mustafa Ali, but still.
Everything was a total accident. Mustafa Ali.
Well, because he wasn't in that Elimination Chamber match.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right. The Kofi Kingston thing only really happened because Mustafa Ali got the concussion.
But what I'm saying is that even though he's the champion now, it's still working with him being with the New Day. It's not inhibiting him by any means.
But why I went through that entire thing is, are they the greatest tag team in WWE history? I say yes.
I would say yes based off of my knowledge of all the tag teams. I don't have as much knowledge as you do, but if you're willing to make that statement, then I will support it.
Yeah. You know what?
In my WWE experience,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no doubt. From your experience, for sure. You know, I got to say that they're better than the Demolition, the Hart Foundation, the Rockers. They put on and on top of that, they've always put on consistently great matches. So. I think they are the greatest tag team that's.
I think it would be foolish to separate them. I really do.
Yep. Good stuff. Really, really good stuff. All right. Next, we had some pretty meh action. I guess this would probably be like the low light of the night. But again, because everything's done in one segment, nothing dragged. Naomi and Alexa Bliss. This was over in 30 seconds. Bliss killed her with a DDT after Naomi accidentally hit Nikki Cross with a baseball slide. Alexa Bliss wins. Natalya runs down for the save because they were attacking Naomi. Then it turns into, after the break, Naomi and Natalya versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross win again. And even though Alexa Bliss kind of stole the win from Nikki Cross, but again, the way they set it up, actually, it wasn't very clear, but they had Nikki Cross looking conflicted after the match. But either way, this is actually a really interesting storyline with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, kind of teasing that, everybody kind of knows that Alexa's using her and all that stuff, but at the same time, like, it's adding some new wrinkles to Alexa Bliss. It added a wrinkle to the Bayley character, and it's just getting Nikki Cross TV time and establishing her as something other than just like, okay, here's the crazy chick from NXT. It's like, well, nobody knows who she is.
We've done crazy before too. Like AJ Lee, I think, was the best ultimate crazy chick, with that role, and she did it very, very well. And I don't truly know if anybody will be able to live up to that type of crazy as a women's wrestler. And obviously with Alicia Fox, like, she's had elements of like the crazy chick. Yeah. But I think
she is actually.
But she's life. But exactly. But I don't really understand the whole character to begin with. We've done crazy before. Like, this is something really kind of, and you can tell, like, even tonight, like, at first when she was trying to pump the crowd into getting on her side, like, it wasn't really working. But then as the match progressed, she was able to get the crowd amped up and everything. With this kind of new component to her character. She doesn't need to do the crazy. Like, this is a really kind of almost like that naivety and that vulnerability and that trust that she has in Alexa Bliss, who's this who's this mean girl in the locker room type thing. Right. I like this. And
it actually gives Nikki Cross an actual character on the main roster other than just hey, she was successful in NXT. That's not a character.
That's not a character.
Like, everything you did in NXT is, when you come to the main roster, it's a wash. It doesn't matter anymore. They don't talk about the takeover matches on the main roster. So they're actually building a character for Nikki Cross. That's why they toned down the craziness, and I think she's going to eventually devolve back into the craziness full time when the stuff hits the fan, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So that was good stuff. All right. After that, it's the main event. AJ Styles versus WWE United States Champion Ricochet. Sorry, hiccup there. Anyway, hiccup just like our little baby hiccups during the ultrasound.
Oh, she's so cute. Whoa.
Bastard. Anyway, so they just do some quick wrestling, and then Gallows and Anderson come down. So Styles gets out of the ring, gets in their face, and tells them to leave ringside, and this match will not start until they get out of leave ringside. So AJ Styles now has the power, because we have to get everything in one segment. This was a really clunky way to get into the main event. he has the power to stop his own match and restart it to get Gallows and Anderson out of the ring. Not the referee, AJ Styles. I was like, okay, whatever.
I didn't mind that, to be honest with you.
It was just silly. It didn't hurt the match at all. It was just silly. You know?
Nah, yeah, you're right. Okay, silly.
Yeah, that's all. You know, there had to be a better way to get that done. But again, this is really like last week was the trial run. This is still like, you know, first week, getting some kinks out and all that stuff. So, you know, we're going to run into a few little hiccups every now and then. After that, Ricochet and AJ Styles went on to have a very good match, uninterrupted by a commercial break. They did a lot of stuff to each other. And for the most part, it was very entertaining. And again, they surprised me. I thought AJ Styles was going to lose and we get an AJ Styles heel turn or whatever.
Right.
But no, AJ Styles, yes, he was definitely showing signs of a turn coming up. Right. No doubt about it. But, what did I just do?
What'd you do?
Oh, no, I accidentally clicked a button by accident. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. So AJ Styles was definitely showing signs of a heel turn, but he didn't lose his cool, and he wound up pinning Ricochet with a phenomenal forearm. So Michael Cole goes, we'll see if that puts him in line for a United States Championship eventually. It's like, he just beat the champion. Yes, he should be number one contender right now.
I'd say so.
You know? That was like such a Michael Cole thing to say. That was like peak Michael Cole. So, yeah. So that's that's how they did it. AJ Styles beats Ricochet. I was definitely not expecting that. There was quite a few highlights in this match.
And then the respect value after.
Yes, AJ Styles still held his arm up after that. Respect. But they were hitting each other hard. They were going at it. It was just lots and lots of fun to watch. The crowd was a little subdued at the end. Still, you know, the 3-hour thing, but hey, you know what? They still got a damn good match, and you know I can't complain about anything that was on this Raw tonight at all. It was just freaking. I
can't either.
Top to bottom, this is probably one of the best Raws of the year.
Solid thumbs up.
100%.
I'm giving 2 thumbs up. I'm getting a little crazy.
Okay, yeah, I got to give it 2 thumbs up too, but I got to tell you, the pacing of the show, it really flew by.
It did.
I wasn't I wasn't looking at the clock, you know, and like, oh my God, when's this over? I really had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah, no, I did.
Where the time kind of just wasn't an issue anymore. And, you know, if that's how, you know, I guess you can't have Undertaker come back every week. You're not going to have a hilarious segment every week. But you know what? If everything's limited to one segment, like, that makes it a lot more palatable rather than dragging stuff out that's no good, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than having Baron Corbin, like I remember when we went to Raw after SummerSlam, it was Baron Corbin versus Bobby Lashley, and it was like 2 segments of that, and it's like, God, nobody needs to see this. This doesn't need to go 2 segments. And like there's been plenty of times where I've shouted at the TV, this doesn't need to be 2 segments. God damn it.
No.
You know, and they do it. So,
and we've had the 4-segment matches.
Oh yeah.
Like, do you know, like the 4 commercial breaks, so it's like, oh dear Lord, like, why is it getting to that point?
Right.
So this is just
you know, like, I hate to say it, but you know, Vince Russo is like a guy who's legitimately, like, something happened to him. I don't know if he was ever like a smart guy. You know, he always had Vince McMahon to be his filter during the Attitude Era. Vince Russo is the guy who claims he's responsible for the Attitude Era.
Yeah, no,
and then he went to WCW, made a total ass of himself, and he's basically like you want to call it. There's like 2 pariahs in the wrestling industry.
Mm-hmm.
One is Jim Cornette, and the other one is Vince Russo.
Okay, absolute
pariahs. People do not like them, but he has a point. He has one single solitary point of anything, of all the crazy crap he said post WWF. The one thing that he was right about is that nobody wants to see wrestling matches stretched out over commercial breaks. And he's right.
Yeah,
I don't need to see long matches on TV every week stretched out.
No.
You know?
No, that's what we have pay-per-views for. And we don't even have commercial breaks during pay-per-views, but that's what we have pay-per-views for, to give time to matches that you want longer than the average match.
Right. So he had a point there. And you know what? For week one, when we actually know that this is happening now, we get why it's happening. Week one of actually looking for this stuff and seeing if it's working, it worked.
It worked.
I loved this episode of Raw. I don't need to come up with a list of 10 things I liked about it. I liked all of it.
Yeah.
So let's take a look, see what the Twitter polls are saying.
People went up.
People in the chat room, tell us what you think as well. We have 82% thumbs up.
Just went up 2%.
So that's pretty good. People actually enjoyed Raw tonight. So I can't.
I like when I talk about a Raw and I enjoy it. Like I do.
Me too. This is I want to come on. I want to come on our post Raw show every week and talk about how much we loved Raw. And if we can do that more consistently than talking about the bad stuff, yeah, hell yeah, I'm all for it. I am all for it. Nafisa. We want Judy Bagwell on a forklift or something. No, we don't want that. Terrible callback, but great callback all at the same time. Anyway, so that was the Raw show. That's post Raw. Hey, love it. I had some fun.
Me too. Absolutely.
All right, everybody. With that, we're gonna put a bow on this.
Thank you so much for listening, and
yeah.
And if you're watching along live, and thank you for listening on. If you are listening tomorrow at any point, thank you.
Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening, by the way, the one thing that I forgot to say, and I didn't actually put it in my recap either, and somebody alerted me to this fact later on, was that all throughout the night, they were dropping references to the. And I'm sure some people are going to feel bad about leaving now.
The Firefly Funhouse.
The Firefly Funhouse was making appearances on Raw. So, they had the thing with the Firefly Funhouse, and Bray Wyatt just said, "Let me in," he disappeared from the screen. So it's kind of like hinted strongly that he'll be debuting very soon. Well, take a look at this picture of The Miz with Abby the Witch in the background. That's pretty cool. And then they also had Kofi Kingston getting ready, and then there's Mercy the Buzzard in the background. So I
love little Easter eggs.
Me too.
I do.
Yeah, they were definitely dropping the Easter eggs tonight on Raw for the Firefly Funhouse and the comeback of Bray Wyatt. So that's pretty damn cool. So that's something else that we need to watch out for. This show is getting good. The summer is starting. The weather's warm. We're loose. We're off of school. We're having some fun. And I can't wait to continue it on. We'll be back next week. We'll see you then. I'm Mike Tedesco.
I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Have a great week.
Have a great week. Bye.